So some of you might know that I took a partial study retreat week about a week and a half ago. I had the privilege of gathering with about 40 to 50 other New England Unitarian-Universalist ministers for our annual clergy retreat in Greenfield, New Hampshire. And as we settled into our opening and processing circle, our worship leader that afternoon, Reverend Michael Leuchtenberger, who has served the Concord, New Hampshire Church for 16 years, he invited us all to imagine Unitarian Universalist congregations as villages, with ministers, staff, and congregants, all of us, being the villagers who hold so many needed and valuable roles together. As Kyle pointed out, it isn't just one church's village. We are a part of a whole scattering of villages, right? All holding so many needed and valuable roles. If the village is alive and well, Reverend Michael pointed out, we will feel ourselves in service to a web of mutual care, a place where people are known, held, challenged, and changed. And all of this will happen in relationship, for we are a relationship-oriented faith. That is what the Cambridge platform is at its heart all about, relationality. Relationship between one another, relationship with a higher purpose, our mission, our shared values, spirit, and to ourselves also, relationship to ourselves. And when these relationships happen in good, intentional balance, or we at least aspire and try for this kind of relationality in all that we do at church, this, Reverend Michael said, is what creates a true village, a true village. And it takes the whole village to be a truly thriving one, not one or a small handful of talented villagers, and certainly not just the minister. No. It takes the whole village to be a truly thriving one. So, with his permission, Reverend Michael is allowing me to bring his deeper understanding of the true village to you today. And the best part is I know of at least 10 other ministers from that retreat who are offering this from their pulpits this morning too. So it's nice to feel in sync with the bigger village, right? So as we clergy were asked, I now invite you to imagine that our shared ministries here at First Parish are centered in a village with many needed and valuable roles to know about. And here are a few. I'm speaking Reverend Michael's words now. First, the welcomers. These are the village people who instinctively move toward the stranger at the edge of the gathering. They make the first approach. They learn the new family's names before anyone else does. They remember to introduce people to each other. Without them, our stated value of welcome, it remains abstract. It's just a banner on the front lawn rather than an embodied practice. The welcomer's gift is hospitality. And there are the founders and keepers of memory, the village people who carry the community's origin story, who remember why things were built the way they were, what was tried and failed, what was hard won. In a congregation, these are the longtime members who hold institutional memory, not as gatekeepers of the past, but as witnesses to the arc of a community's becoming. They answer the question, how did we get here? Their gift is continuity. And we have the elders. Distinct from mere longevity, elders are those village people whose accumulated experience has been tempered into wisdom. People who've suffered, reflected, and arrived at something useful. They hold the long view when everyone else is reacting to the immediate crisis. In a congregation, elders are not always the oldest people in the room. They are those who've learned how to hold complexity without needing to resolve it prematurely. Their gift is perspective. And there are our healers. Every village needs people skilled in tending to wounds, physical, emotional, relational, spiritual. In a congregation, healers show up in formal roles like ministers or trained staff or those whose professions have taught them how to be healers, and also in informal ones. The person who always seems to know who is struggling, the one who brings food without being asked, the quiet presence listening with minimal judgment. Healers hold the grief and illness and crisis that community life inevitably generates. Their gift is attentiveness to suffering. And then there are our prophets, the village people who see the gap between what a community claims and what it does, and who refuse to let that gap go unnamed. In a village, they are the ones who stand up in the town meeting and say the uncomfortable thing. They might not always be the most popular figures, but without them, communities drift into comfortable self-congratulation. Their gift is moral clarity. And there are our bridge builders. Since every village contains factions, people who don't naturally understand each other, who move in different circles, who might not choose each other if left to their own tendencies, yet bridge builders are those who move comfortably between these groups, and they translate. They find common ground. They bring people into relationship who wouldn't have found each other otherwise. In a congregation, navigating theological diversity, generational difference, or conflict, bridge builders are essential. Their gift is connection across difference. And we have the builders and sustainers, the village people who show up to fix what is broken, who oversee stewardship season and our bank accounts, who make sure the buildings and grounds are maintained, or that we have snacks and hot coffee at our events, flowers at our worship, that our kids are cared for, or our hymnals are dispersed properly. They are the committee chairs, team leads, the folks who are often behind the scenes. Their gift is faithfulness to the sometimes but so needed unglamorous work. Every healthy community also needs people who understand and maintain its edges, not to exclude, but to define. These are the boundary holders who hold covenants, who name when behavior has crossed a line, who help a congregation understand that welcome and boundarylessness are not the same thing. In a village, they are the ones who know the difference between a disagreement and a violation, between discomfort and harm. Their gift is the protection of communal integrity. And there are the dreamers and innovators who look at what is and imagine what could be. They question the inherited structure, pull the community toward a future it can't quite see yet. Without dreamers, communities calcify. In a congregation, innovators, they are often in tension with the keepers of memory, and that tension held well is generative. Their gift is imagination. And let's not forget the children. In a true village, children are not a program. They are not a constituency to be served. They are full members of the community whose presence changes the nature of the village itself. They ask the questions adults have learned to suppress. They remind the community that it exists not just for the present, but for the future. A congregation that treats children as recipients of community rather than makers of it have misunderstood what a village is. Their gift is presence without pretense. And there are other roles, like the questioners and seekers, not fully at home yet, still trying to figure out whether they belong in a UU village. They are a permanent, needed, and vital presence. And the grievers, less a role than a season. Every village has those who are currently in it. The bereaved, the ill, the ones going through a divorce or job loss or estrangement from a child. The grievers remind the village of its most fundamental purpose: to be present to one another in the hardest moments of human life. The more a congregation becomes a true village, the less the minister or any one person carries things alone. One of the deepest spiritual tasks of ordained and lay ministry is learning the difference between holding the community and holding everything for the community. So we must ask ourselves, what is ours to tend, and what must be shared? When do we step forward, and when do we step back? How do we cultivate leaders, caregivers, connectors, so that the village becomes resilient beyond us? And finally, if we are to help create and build true villages, we must also tend the village within ourselves, lest the roles we play begin to narrow our lives until we become defined by what we think others need or expect from us. Or worse, burn us out. So we must also ask ourselves earnestly, who holds me? Where am I known beyond the roles I play or the gifts I offer? What spaces allow me to be unguarded, unfinished, and real? Sustaining and nourishing ourselves, being introspective, is not an indulgence. It is tantamount to a healthy, thriving village. Perhaps, my friends, this is our shared calling at this precious time in the life of this truly glorious church. Building the true village together. A place where, by my side, come sing a song with me that I might know your mind and comfort me. It means something. In fact, it means everything. Maybe that is our shared calling. Let's listen to Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto's beautiful words again. In this community, we hold hope close. We don't always know what comes next, but that cannot dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath, the foundation of our values and ethics. We are the people who return to love like a north star and to the truth that we are greater together than we are alone. Our hope does not live in some glimmer of an indistinct future. Rather, we know the way to the world of which we dream. And by covenant and the movement forward of one right action and the next, we know that one day we will arrive at home. And I want to extend to you a thank you. Thank you, welcomers. Thank you, healers. Thank you, builders and sustainers and questioners and dreamers. Thank you, grievers. Thank you, children and elders, boundary holders, prophets. Thank you. Thank you, memory keepers. And thank you, bridge builders. Thank you. May each of us continue to co-create and dream about the true village together, in which we all hold and we are each held. May it be so, and amen.